Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Art of the Game over here at Cabot Crossing. And this is the show where we three game masters combine our experiences and make lots of weird noises.
Yeah, we're absolutely not referencing something that just happened off camera. Okay.
Peeing? I don't know.
We're spilling the tea today. sharing some tips, tricks, do a little debating about tabletop role-playing games. So today's topic I came up with, and it's about stealing rules, borrowing rules.
But hey, it's not stealing if you give it back. Just remember.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I guess I'll start off with the first rule that I like to steal if it's not already there. It's a lot more common now than it was when I was younger. Is like meta points, like the idea of like hero points like in Mutants Masterminds, or luck tokens in Shadow Dark, or inspiration in D&D, and many other variations. So when I first played Star Wars, the original Star Wars game, they had force points, or kind of like that, and for the longest time there wasn't anything like that in most role-playing games. My next favorite version of that was with the cinematic uni system of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They had those kind of points too. Story points, I think was what they called them. Now they're very common, much more common.
That one's an interesting one for me because like I never had that before, because I was playing Palladium, the Rift RPG, and other games they had. It was all or nothing. Like you either pull it off or I know, right? But it is like it harkens back to like a more OSR style of play, right? Where like because that system is one generation removed from that time period, right? And so a lot of those traditional aspects of just the all or nothing aspect of the gameplay stayed there, right? And then suddenly you've got this inspiration rule that pops in 5e, and I kept some version of it in the game that I wrote, but it's weird now going back to like now we're playing the Ninja Turtles game on Saturday night. While we're taking a break from the main campaign, and like I've got other games where we're running a 5e system with cyber symbiosis rules, and we're using kind of an inspirational kind of rule set, and then you go back to like something more OSR, and like you're not doing that, and sometimes the players go, well, can I get that reroll? No. but it does feel weird to like play games with it and the games that don't have it. It's a very strange dichotomy there.
Yeah, Shadow Dark has it. I don't know if any other OSR games do, but they do have a luck token. They're stingy with it, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's to the benefit of the game or not, because for certainly it improves the likelihood that the players are going to survive, and I generally don't use those rules for the bad guys. It's just strictly for the players, because for me, I just don't feel comfortable giving that particular thing to the villain. I know Greg did, and I'm like, I was just waiting for it to go bad. It never seemed to, but
did you?
Greg, are you muted?
Yeah, I have my cough button on. Okay. Man, you guys just keep ignoring me. But anyways, because of the live stream, you could donate money to make the enemies bad.
It was amazing to me that people were doing it. Like, wow.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too, actually. But I do think there's two types here, and you really have to distinguish between the two. There's the I fucked up, I want to reroll type, or the I fucked up, I want to just add set points. And then there's the meta points where it's like you can do these special things using these points, right? Like take another action, or I don't know, lots of different things.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I don't like the inspiration one, only because there's just not enough mechanics around it. It's all about the GM remembering to do it, which I hate. And it's always just like a anti-fuck up thing, where it's kind of takes away from the whole rolling matters type thing. I do like the ones where you get meta points that can actually, you could, like for instance with action-based games, you could take another action. With other types, you can give someone else a bonus perhaps, or something like that. Well, even that one, I don't know. But if they can get creative with it, maybe it's not so bad.
I like the use of it especially with hero points and Mutants Masterminds. It really helps forward that cinematic superhero thing. So you can really, if you're creative, and also what they do is they don't just like go, there's this little slapped on thing where you get some points. They have it they have complications that your characters can have, and then when you activate complications or your player activates them, you can go ahead and give them hero points for that. That's
Yeah.
one way
So
to do it.
as an example of that, that's right. I forgot about that game. That actually does do it really nicely. For instance, I could use a hero point to say, "Oh, by the way, when we're back at that church, I actually took some of the church wine." Right? I think I used that there for some
I
reason.
like I like that a lot, like as a way
Yeah.
to like having a retcon system built into it, because
Mhm.
the players often aren't thinking far enough ahead.
Yeah.
It's kind of like thing I was saying the other day, where like you have the problem of like you're watching a horror movie and you're going, "How are you that stupid?" But you flip it around, and then you are in the actual game experience, and the people are in the moment, right?
Yeah.
And if they are invested in this game and enjoying it the way they're supposed to be, it turns out that horror movie stupidity is actually real.
Yeah.
And your players are going to behave that way actually. And but then there is that question of like, but I would have done this though, but you didn't, right? So
Yeah.
is there a way to generate like a retcon machine, right,
Yeah.
within the game mechanics to make it so that they get to do it, and like having like a spending an inspiration or a luck point or whatever it is to be able to get that retcon? I think that's great, because like,
Yeah.
it's a resource. You need to provide them with a reason to use it.
Yeah. And also that game had a mechanic to give out those points too. So for instance, you don't just say, "Oh, that's cool, you get a hero point." Though you could do that.
Yeah.
You could also say, I think I was was I like a dog person or something in that? I can't remember now.
You're an
I f-
ogre.
I was but
Eminem.
yeah, I was an ogre. But
You were a
anyway,
kobold in wait.
yeah, or a kobold in that other game. But no, mutants and masterminds. But anyways, the point was the guy gave me a hero point because he gave a silvered weapon to the person fighting me.
Yeah.
And so
Oh.
he's like, "I'm going to give you a disadvantage, and here's a hero point for the fact that I'm giving this guy."
Well, maybe you're thinking of
advantage
me. I
towards
was
you."
a werewolf, so maybe you're
That's what
thinking
it
about
was. Yeah,
happened
he
to me.
gave you a hero point because he gave the guy silvered weapons. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
it's kind of interesting.
what's frustrating to me about that particular system of doing it is that when you have it baked into the rules of the game, and then the GM never hands them out.
Yes, I
And
hate
it's
that.
like, ugh.
And I'm the worst perpetrator of that. I'm so bad at handing out
Yeah.
hero points.
Yeah. Well, on the subject of like,
Stealing.
borrowing rules from
Borrowing.
other games and bringing them in. This is like where my contribution to this discussion is that, like, so we're talking about like this hero point system, which I think is pretty flexible enough. You can kind of institute it to some degree in any game, just about. But one thing that I've run into on this topic is that when I've looked at something and go, "This is really cool, I'm going to try using this," right? And sometimes these ideas that you implement don't work. Like you think it's going to, but it actually doesn't. And it turns out, oh wow, yeah, this game you're playing actually was really well crafted and well made, and it does what it does for a reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make them realize that you've made a mistake and you need to walk back what you just did. And
Yeah.
there does have to be a point when you're doing this that you have to kind of have enough detachment from it to be able to look and go and like recognize if it was actually a good idea, because you still need that challenge and threat for the players, and you can't just have a game where they're like, okay, well now we're god level, and there's no challenge, and suddenly you have the escalation of the power creep,
Well, you just gotta. I mean, it's if you want something more cinematic and stuff. It encourages people to take chances and be bold.
Yeah.
By doing that, because they'll be rewarded through that.
And I'm not just necessarily talking about the hero points. I'm talking about like just in general, like because if you're taking, because the thing about RPGs is they're flexible. You can make it your thing, right? And you can, like I've got games on my shelf that got great ideas. Like one of the things that I've found extremely valuable is to taking advice and ideas from the Amber role playing game, which I've got right up here, and that there's a lot of really good stuff in there that can enhance the game experience, but. But then I've got other stuff on the shelf that, whatever's in this book cannot go into this other thing, right? Like they, like you also have to think of the framework of how the game rules work, and sometimes, it's a great idea until the players actually get a hold of it, and then you're like, oh shit.
I think this is why you have systems like DC-20 or Nimble that all started as a homebrew rule. And before they know it, they're writing their own system because they're not necessarily internally consistent if you just throw them in.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, in the development of my Cyber Symbiosis RPG, there were a lot of things that I came up with along, like before it finally hit the point where it is right now, and there were the ideas that I tried and things I threw out, and looked like a good idea. It just didn't work.
I think why inspiration doesn't always work in D&D is because it feels kind of like just thrown in. Like there's just a little section. I don't know what page it is. We're just thrown in there, and it's never referenced, barely ever. And I think that's why. Like in Level Up 5e, they tried to do more with it. I haven't tried it in actual practice. So I don't know if it works or not. But where in your origins you get destinies, where you're trying to accomplish something. It both gives you a special ability you get when you use your inspiration, and also like themes of what give you inspiration based on what your destiny is or what kind of character you are. And that was an interesting approach. That at least it's a little more integrated in the rules. At least I don't know if it works.
Well, you make a really good point there, because it does feel tacked on, right? Because like the D&D game is traditionally been more hardcore, more hard fantasy, aspects of it, like. And then when it went into the Wizards of the Coast era, they still had a lot of that, with the third edition, but all of a sudden we have this whole thing where it's like you have this. It is a rule that is tacked onto a game, but also one where they've stripped it down so much, right, that a lot of that flavor of it, I think is kind of stripped away to a lot of degrees, and it's kind of just down to the bare bones. But then you have that rule, which it is a little bit of an odd add-on there.
Yeah, it was almost like an afterthought.
Yeah, because there are a lot of things in the 5e game engine where like they're so basic that even though you can do a lot with it, it can be a lot of fun. At the same time, like some of the things are too simple, and they don't give you enough to do, like the reaction rule, which I think is great, but you only get to do one thing with it generally, and so
it would be nice for players to be like, hey, I'm doing this. And this type of thing is the thing that gives me a hero point, and that's why I'm pursuing it, or something like that, like the Destinies idea. Because unless there's guidance around when you get it, it's just kind of a crapshoot. Who knows?
I did a weird homebrew whatever thing, because I have this one group where we're playing D&D, Tales of the Valiant, and Level Up 5e all combined. And so what I ended up ruling was we use luck points from Tales of the Valiant, because that kind of rewards you a little bit whenever you fail on stuff, which is kind of can be a low point for a player if you keep missing. And then what I did was with the people using Level Up, I said, well, you know what? Forget inspiration. What we'll do is, because your special ability costs, because a reroll with luck points is 3 points, which is basically like an inspiration. We're just going to say you can initiate that move with 3 luck points. So I kind of combined the two together, and it's working okay so far right now. But so that's where I've been playing around with and seeing how it works.
Yeah, and in that case, you have to, as I said, you have to be like, did I do it right? It takes a while to perfect it. Well, one of the things that I had did, because for a rule that I took, was like I liked the 5-foot step rule in in third edition, and it really felt weird that it wasn't there, and so I ended up putting in a thing where you can actually take a 5-foot step with a reaction. And giving there another option for that. And it actually occurred to me that I was listening to our last episode today, and our most recent one released, and we were talking about the the problem of like how to being able to escape, right, and being unable to do so. And it dawned on me that adding in that 5-foot step option actually gives you that escape chance, because you're if you take your dash action, if I remember right, I think you could also doubles the 5-foot step, but like you basically, at the very least, you're getting an extra 5 feet. So the actual
does it disengage with the opponent, or
so if you disengage, right, now you've run your 60 feet, they can of course dash and catch up with you, which is why it doesn't work actually. But the other side of it is like you also you can take that extra 5 feet, right? So it's like you actually have this chance to escape, and so like they really have to be determined to chase you down.
Wait, so it's a reaction? You can take it on other people's turns?
Yes.
Doesn't that mean you can always just get out of range of any melee person? Always?
Well, yeah, but if you take the 5-foot step, you still can trigger that attack of opportunity.
Okay, yeah. 5-foot step in 3E was 3.5 was you don't get attack of opportunity. So
yeah, I'm saw that as an error.
Okay.
So, but in this case, attack of opportunity is specifically triggered by the disengage, not the engagement, right? So, so it was, but like it's an interesting way of like it was a rule that I liked. I like having that extra because like the problem with like third edition and fifth edition to a degree, and fifth edition is a little I think a little more kinder about it, but like when you're going from a game like the Palladium system where the combat is extremely fluid, you have extreme flexibility, and you're not really stuck in these rules, right? You can you have a framework and you do anything you want within that framework. But then you switch into like a third edition or a 5e system where you only can do the exact things that are laid out in there. You can't do anything else. And suddenly, when you've gone from an open range combat style to something that is no, you have a menu to pick from, and you can only pick from that menu. All of a sudden, the flaws in it are so starkly obvious, right?
Yeah.
And so, for me, like when I produce my version of it, the more tactical options I can give and more flexibility I can create for the players, the better. And having that 5-foot step as an option there with the reaction really opened up so many opportunities for people to actually do stuff. Because you're throwing the fireball, you're throwing that grenade. Well, what if you could dive for cover behind that, that chunk of rock? Well, we see them do it in movies and TV shows all the time. Why can't you do it in D&D, right? And so you should be allowed to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always have like a lot of home rules, like I said, but I never know where I'm stealing them from. Like I said, I think I know a lot of different systems get rid of flanking. They think they just don't want the complication of that stuff. Like I think Shadow Dark doesn't have it. I have to check, but
it doesn't have flanking.
Yeah, and I always add flanking into everything I do. If you have miniatures and a grid and dungeons, I just like you have to have flanking because it is probably for melee characters at least the primary strategy when you're going around and trying to position yourself and things like that. And I always make it easy. I don't make it so you have to be on opposite sides. It's just like anybody who does sword fighting knows if you're fighting two people, you're screwed. Even if you're like one of the best sword masters, you're kind of screwed.
Well, I also think that it may be necessary in some cases from a tactical standpoint, because I remember I was looking at the Drider, I think, and I got like a defense that's really high. And the creature itself is not that tough in terms of like its stats. It's got a lot of hit points, but it's like, it's not that bad for like a bunch of lower level characters could gang up on it and probably do okay and make a decent boss fight. The problem is they'll never hit it, right?
Yeah.
And so unless you got a wizard softening him up, but like, you do the math on it, it's like, one out of every, like 3 hits or half the hits are going to miss. And that's really frustrating from the player's perspective if they keep missing. And
luck points.
Yeah, exactly. But that'll only carry you so far, right? And so having that flanking option where you can team up like that and be able to get like some extra points on, because like advantage isn't necessarily going to be enough. You need those extra +2 or +1, right?
And a lot of people don't realize, like I only give +2 for flanking, and people's like, oh, that's not as good as advantage, and that's true. But people don't realize when you're trying to stack advantages, you actually can do advantage and +2 with this system the way I do it, right?
Exactly.
And now you're stacking those bonuses, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be a go-to for a lot. I ended up falling on that where I was like, okay, you'll get a flanking, but it's a +2, not advantage.
I think with flanking, the main question is whether or not it's an automatic ability, like, or if it, because I don't like this idea that in 5e you have to, like, the person who's flanking doesn't also get to attack. They have to give the flanking bonus to the other player. And I don't know why you would do that, because you could,
no reason.
well, you could do that, or you can just get 2 attacks and double, and now you have a 10% chance at a natural 20 versus a 5% chance, and that extra +2 you're giving somebody, or the advantage, whatever, does not necessarily, improve that, and plus when you're attacking, you get all your special abilities added onto your attack. And they get all their special abilities. It is so like I'm with you, Greg. That I liked when I did it. I just said, oh no, you just get a +2. Whoever's flanking gets the +2 bonus, and but then the bad guys can too. You have to remember, like, it cuts both ways. And if you're fighting
a whole Congo line,
exactly, the Congo line, the Congo line of death. That's actually a tactic.
And it makes like getting swarmed by hellhounds all around you.
Well, the Congo line of death is when you have 2 people in the doorway, so nobody can get through, and somebody's in behind them throwing healing spells or potions. And so,
yeah.
according to Knights of the Dinner Table.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of other homebrew rules I use. I make potions. If you're taking it yourself, it's a bonus action, which I did it before Baldur's Gate 3 did it. Damn it! And and some other stuff like we talk about fumbling skills. I think is fun.
I really like. I don't know where it came from, but I really like that one that you did, Greg, where somebody spent their action guzzling a potion to get the full value of it, because it sucks to roll a healing potion. You only roll a 1, which means you have this expensive item that you've purchased at a shop that was basically wasted. And
that's actually a good roll. I don't think that was me. I might use that though.
Are you shitting me right now? I got that from you. I got it from you, Dad. I got it from watching you.
I'm writing that down. Hold on.
Holy crap.
No, man.
But like it is.
You sure I didn't say using it out of combat? I've done that before.
Well, it depends. Like if somebody's swinging a sword at your face, you're not guzzling a potion. I would not allow somebody to do that.
Well, that's why like Pathfinder, they made an attack of opportunity for trying to take a potion in combat, which I thought.
See, no, that's real good, and I think. But the thing is that I would just simply say you can't do it. Like, but that also kind of falls into the category of like, like there's various things that the GM is there for, and that's one of them, right? Like you can't establish everything. You just you give them a framework, and then the rest of it, it's up to the GM to sort it out, right? And some GMs will feel differently. It's like, yeah, you can go to that potion, whatever. But like it's kind of like the one of the I was actually wrestling with this issue with grenades when I was looking at Cyber Symbiosis and dealing with a high tech setting, because you have this problem where yes, you've got this grenade, right? And it's a really powerful weapon, and you obviously throwing it is going to be your major action, right? But then you got your minor action or bonus action of 5e, like you can just drop it and then move, right? So now you have this attack. Okay. You know what I mean? Like I shoot the gun, drop the grenade, I step 30 feet this way, grenade blows up. Like yes, there's absolutely no logical reason to say no to this.
Yeah,
it's just how it is.
Yeah, throw a grenade is an action, drop a grenade is a minor action.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
I wonder if that's ever a military tactic. You're being chased, drop the grenade and run.
I don't know, but
I wonder how far you can actually in real life get away from a grenade.
Yeah,
I bet you risk a little shrapnel.
I think Jane and Firefly did something like that, where he just dropped and kicked it.
Great if we had a grenade right now. Well, I'll tell you this: like it's the I have players that get very frustrated when they don't get their grenades. Like they
I need more grenades, man.
I want my grenade now. Where's
the Wild West? Everybody wants
yeah. They always want to have one. They're pretty handy.
Let the grenade out.
Though if you're if you want to steal a rule, one that I would recommend highly stealing if you're dealing with technology is there is this exploit with grenades where it's like, oh, I have an intangible character. Okay, I'm gonna sneak in, drop the grenade, sneak out, right? Go through the wall and blow something up. Now the question is if you drop the grenade while you're intangible, what happens to it, right? And so that is a big one, right? And that's one I had to deal with very early on with the Rifts RPG, because somebody thought, well, I'll play a Psy Ghost and I'm going to turn intangible and come in and I'm going to stick my hand into the enemy tank and let the grenade go, and the grenade will be back to normal, right? And so I had to make a ruling like, no, actually, it's gone forever.
It just goes into the intangible world.
Yeah, it goes wherever.
Unless they're willing to become tangible while their arm is still in there, and they decide to lose their hand.
Yes, and in which case you now have to initiate the rules regarding cybernetics, which now diminishes your psychic powers. But I mean, it depends how badly you want to pull it off,
Right?
But exactly. But that is an interesting point, because like you kind of run into these things like yes, you're intangible, but you'd have to be able to enter the space of complete void, get in there completely, turn tangible, drop it, which means you now have stacking up actions in multiple rounds potentially, and then if there's people in there now, they have a chance to deal with you, because if somebody picks up the grenade, they can, let's hold that,
What do they call it? Rulings, not rules, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to see the list of stuff we talked about, I don't think we need to go through it, but there it is. You can pause the video and read it through it if you want.
I think though that the point with like, if you see lots of RPGs you like, and you look at different, you're going to run across ideas, and there's going to be fun things to implement, but they have to be done with judgment and recognition that you might have made a mistake, and
don't be attached to it. Just
be
willing
like
to take it back.
you have to be willing to admit you're wrong, and this idea that GM is always right, yes and no.
Yeah.
But we make mistakes too, and we got to be able to walk it back.
Yeah. We had one the other day where it's like, oh, we want to make it so if you get a natural 1 on a save, you take max damage. Yeah, we moved that back pretty fast.
I bet you did. Well, I have done a deal though, where if somebody and I know you didn't like it because somebody else rolled the save, Greg, but like we do a fireball and somebody rolls a 1. Basically fumbles their saving throw. Well, why wouldn't it do double damage? And though that's a big one for double damage, but there are a lot of spells where it's a saving throw base, and then how do you resolve a fumble or a critical hit there? That would be the way.
Yeah. 5e I think has some issues with that, but if you can make it work, you can make it work. And a lot of these rules, by the way, also don't be afraid to just try it, because ultimately, if you really think about it, most people don't get their full effect of the fun of the game from just like technical rules and combat and stuff like that, right? There's a lot more to it than just that, and it's not gonna ruin your game if something's not exactly balanced.
I never heard anybody go, "This was a great game. It was so perfectly by the rules."
Right. It was so perfectly balanced. I felt like no one had any advantage over anyone else.
Yeah. Well, it's all about that experience and being invested. Yeah. And for some people, it's the story, and for some people, it's those epic moments, and other people, it's like they're rules lawyers, And that's
and some people like strategy and all that too. So it's fun.
Yeah, I love the strategic elements of combat scenes. I think it's great, and that's like for me, like I thrive on that. And it's like, okay, well, can we outthink this problem, right? And it's but I also do want to be invested in that storyline too. You have to have a reason to be in that fight.
I like the strategery.
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, so that's it, right? We're good.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
All right.
You have one.
End it before someone talks.
Oh no! Stop. Okay, so all right, guys. So, guys and gals, thanks for watching. And what do you think? What's some rules that people should borrow from different games to use in their games?
Or was there one that failed miserably?
Oh yes, that could be a lot of fun too. Let us know in the comments. Let's make it a conversation, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
And just know that all game systems steal from all other game systems. It's a tradition in RPGs. Don't feel bad for doing it. Just do it. Use whatever you think is good.
And every one of them, except the first one, started out. Well, no, actually, every RPG started as home brewed rules.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even the first, even the first one. Yeah, even the first one. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Yeah, because they were homebrewing their war games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and until next time.
Keep warring. No, homebrewing. Jesus.
Yes. Keep brewing.
Keep brewing.
When the dice roll high, we touch the sky. But when they crash, it's a barely laugh. Genre play, lighting the way. Our tales